here we go, all right?
Okay.
Here you go. All right, you're good.
Good evening. I'm Ann Lindsley, and I'm the IB coordinator at Bel Air High School. And I'm here tonight to hopefully explain to you about the IB program, what we have to offer at Bel Air, how you apply to get into it, what is the difference between IB and AP, and what does IB do for me as an academic motivated student. And hopefully we can answer your questions. If you do have questions throughout the night, please put them in our chat box. Our Dean of Instruction is monitoring and our chat box functioning as my moderator tonight. And she does know some of the answers, and so she's very capable of answering them for us. Any questions we don't get to, I will put together a Q&A and post that on our website, hopefully by tomorrow. So anyway, this is our agenda, and I do encourage you to ask questions if there is something that you do have that is pressing. All right, so the International Baccalaureate program is a global program. It is in 163 countries. It is an international program that stretches from the primary years as toddlers, 3-year-olds, all the way up to 19-year-olds in year 13 or year 12 in high school. Bel Air High School is one of the 50 of the oldest IB programs. It was authorized in 1979. It is the oldest program in Texas, and it is also one of the most successful programs. We are a small program. We do offer a limited number of courses, and we also look at these courses in conjunction with what is necessary for graduation requirements and how students want to proceed through their high school years in preparation for college levels. As I mentioned, IB does begin in the primary years, so perhaps some of you went to elementary school at an IB program. It was more along the lines of projects, kind of almost a modified Montessori type style. The middle years program is a project-based program, and then diploma is very much different. I always get a kick out of it when people tell me, oh yeah, we went to MYP, we know everything about IB. And then they find out, oh no, this is a lot different. And it is, because these are the culmination years. These are the capstone courses that finish out your K-12 education as you move into more detailed studies in college. We do not offer an MYP program at Bel Air. We do not have to. Newer schools do have to offer the MYP. We have a robust advanced placement program. So instead of an MYP program, our students all are required to be in the pre-AP level courses, and those will feed into both IB and AP. The IB philosophy is designed around creating a high, robust, quality education with high standards to create culturally aware graduates to find their role in, oh, I'm so sorry. Turn that off. Sorry. Anyway, this is, it's also a university credit program. As a university credit program, it is designed for students to earn initial credits, college credits from usually their freshman and sophomore years. It also is comparable to College Board's advanced placement program, where they also earn college credits. It is very typical of our IB graduates to be able to double major when they go to college, or finish their undergraduate in 3 years if they choose to. We can talk about that more later. So of the 153 countries, the IB program in the United States is the fastest growing. It is in both public and in private schools. In urban areas predominantly, mostly because of the broad base of students that can apply to them or participate in them, usually comes from some of the larger towns and cities. And Texas is also one of the fastest growing of the IB World Schools locations. This year's been particularly challenging. We do give, in the IB world, we give exams in November for predominantly the Southern Hemisphere and in May for the Northern Hemisphere. So the Southern Hemisphere just finished their exams, and their exams all had to be shifted around due to the current pandemic situation, just like ours had to be in May. So IB follows what is called the IB learner profile. And these are a series of characteristics that they are looking at that help to promote the whole person in terms of emotional and social growth, in terms of education, promise, and contribution back to society in general. And so these are characteristics or qualities of students, and a lot of students have these qualities. I have never met a student that doesn't have at least 2 or 3 or 4 of these qualities. Whether or not they want a rigorous academic program on top of it's another answer. However, I am certain that your child fits many of these, if not all of these characteristics. But this is what kind of a student that the IB program is attracted. So what do we do in IB? Because that's really what you want to know, is the nuts and bolts. What does it involve? Because it's not just a transfer or an entry into Bel Air. It is a 4-year process, just like getting out of high school in general. It is a 4-year process where we have required courses from the state of Texas that have to be completed. And then on top of that, we teach many of the IB courses that also count for those requirements for graduation. So a student could easily be sitting in a class where they're satisfying a graduation requirement, they're taking the IB exam in it, doing the IB curriculum, and then they also will take the AP exam. And that is very, very common of our students. Bel Air and Heights High School are the only 2, I believe, that do a combined IB and AP program for our IB levels. And we do this with all of the classes. Math is a little bit different because the IB math does not have an AP course. However, our students take AP calculus because calculus is part of the IB curriculum. So they are getting that calculus in for the AP exam. So first of all, they have 6 subjects that they have to take courses in. And these are English, social studies, math, science, foreign language, and then an elective area or a second science or second social science. They have to complete an extended essay. If you know any of our current seniors right now, some of them look bug-eyed and exhausted because this week was the due date for their first review of their extended essay. This is a 4,000-word essay. It is an analytical-based essay, and boy, once they learn how to write these from us, they have conquered college because they have no problems knowing what to write and how to write for their college classes. It's always interesting to hear their anecdotal stories when they come back too, because they are absolutely amazed how their roommates have no idea how to write a paragraph, and yet these guys can write a 3-page paper in less than a night. Anyway, they also have a class called Theory of Knowledge, which is a requirement for IB. It is not a requirement for graduation from the state of Texas, but it is a requirement for IB. So they all have that as a pull-out class for all of them. And they also participate in in what's called CAS, but basically this is community service if you want to condense it down. And this is something that this caliber of a high school student would be involved with anyway. So a lot of times we are just trying to get across to them, okay, well, you've already done this, so this counts for this. So anyway, these are the different, real condensed, the different areas that are required by the end of their senior year. They do not begin these courses until 11th and 12th grade. That is the first year that they examine. And part of the vocabulary that goes along with this is this idea of higher level and standard level. Higher level courses are only taken in their 12th grade year, and they will take either 3 or 4 of those. These are the courses that they have to graduate as well, like economics, like English, the 4th year of a foreign language. So we are really good at figuring out the graduation IB, what I want to do jigsaw puzzle. And that's what I really sit down with them individually to do every single year to see how they're progressing and moving through the program. The other word that is used commonly with assessment with IB is standard level. And in their junior year, they can take 2 standard level subjects and go ahead and test in those. And that would then eliminate 2 of the 6 exams that they have as an IB candidate. So that'll make more sense later on. If your child comes in, it doesn't even make sense to them really right now. It starts to make more sense to them in the middle of 10th grade because I sit down and talk to them again about it multiple times. The different courses that are in each of these 6 areas. The first one is what IB calls language A1, but that's your language of instruction, which in our case is English. So English is required all 4 years of high school. So we test in English, and the IB students all have, right now, our current 12th graders all have the same teacher they had for 9th grade. So they're enjoying that because they already know Miss Chapman as a 9th grade teacher. Now they have her as a 12th grade teacher. And so that's a sense of comfort for them, and they like that. But the English course itself is a study of language and literature, literary criticism, both the written and the oral expression of language from 11th grade as well as in 12th grade. Group 2, or what is called Group 2, is language acquisition. Language acquisition means that you are learning a language. That doesn't mean that you come in as a native speaker of another language and you are going to cruise through and take your native language and not learn yet another language. IB's intent is that you are learning a second or a third language. Because Bel Air High School is part of the magnet program and has been since the early 1970s. Our magnet program is based upon foreign languages. And in this program, we offer 10 different languages, all of which are part of IB as well. So a student can take any of these that are listed here: Arabic, French, German, Italian. You can read the rest. And they can also not only test for AP in most, but not all, but then they also can test in them for IB, okay? If a student has just a really bad time with a language and all of a sudden they just want to change, they can change to Spanish, French, and German and take 2 years of it. We call this, we don't call this, IB calls this language ab initio. Sometimes we have students come in and they're very idealistic about the language they think they want to take, and then it's not working out for them. So I have this fallback where I can say, okay, well, let's take French. You've already had some other language, a Romance language. Let's take French, or let's take German, and we'll do 2 years and you'll still be able to test for IB. And so that allows them also to have, I think it's almost 6 hours, 6 hours of college credit from that as well. All right, so Group 2 is your foreign languages. Group 3 is our social sciences. And at Bel Air, we only offer actually 2, sometimes 3. It depends on how the student's schedule really works, but economics and geography. Most IB programs offer history of the Americas. We don't do that. I'm actually the geography teacher. I'm a geographer, not a historian. Our economics program is taught by an economist. And so one of the beauties of Bel Air High School in general, part that I loved as a student as well as a teacher teaching in it, is that so many of our courses are taught by masters of their disciplines, and that makes for courses to be more enriching. You can go deeper without being afraid of not knowing something, and so that benefits the students, and particularly when they have those teachers in these IB classes, that's a great benefit as well. So both the economics and the geography are also AP. So a lot of times these students will be what we call co-seating. So we'll have IB and AP students in the same classes. The next group of courses that are offered are our natural or experimental sciences. And here we only have one of those courses, which is a higher level course, and that's biology. And I want to say something about that because sometimes the students get upset with me because they want to go ahead and take biology, what they call AP biology, which is what this is, and they want to take it in 10th grade or they want to take it in 11th grade, but they're on an IB track. And if they're on an IB track, they need to hold this carrot till 12th grade so that they have it for their higher levels. And eventually when I explain it all to them, it makes sense. So a lot of times our 11th graders, they'll take astronomy, or they will take environmental science with me. I teach that also. They'll take physics. Our physics courses are both taught by very strong physicists, so that's really an awesome opportunity. And we also have computer science. That HL should not be on there. It's only a standard level, but that's okay. So they have a variety of choices to choose from for their options in year 3 and 4. And to graduate from high school, you have to have 4 years of science. And once they get to chemistry, the other 2 years are their choice. And so in 11th and 12th grade, they have a choice of those. We always want to have choices. In math, IB math is a little bit different because the IB program is a European-based program. Math runs a little bit differently than our courses do. So in the US, we have courses like called Algebra 1, Algebra 2, Geometry, Pre-Cal, Trig, that kind of stuff. In the European system, you have a vertical thread that runs through different different cognitive levels of math that a student should be able to handle at certain grade levels. So as a result, our math courses for IB are only IB students in those courses. Okay, so they're all in a small cluster depending upon which level they have. All of the students will have the standard level course first. They could have it in 10th grade, or they could end up with it in 11th grade. Depends on what math they come in with. If they take it in 10th grade, then that means they are set for going on to higher level math. In 11th grade, they would take calculus, BC calculus, and then in 12th grade, they would take the higher level math, application and analysis. And the BC calculus and the higher level math are taught by the same teacher. I hope he's listening, because every time I say he is the best math teacher, and every single student for the last 15, 20 years will definitely say, yes, far better than their college math teachers, and they wish they had him back. So our math program is really strong. However, if you know a student that's going to Lamar, there's actually 2 other math courses. We don't offer those math courses. And part of that has to do with what we have to require for entrance. These are the more rigorous level for math in the IB program. We do not offer the other level. It's a different way of looking at math. We don't offer that. We don't have the size to be able to have all of those courses that would offer that. So we offer the most rigorous one, and it's highly successful, and we have some of the highest scores regularly in the whole system. So that's group 5. Group 6 is an interesting area. Group 6 are performing and visual arts. Dance also is in here, theater is in here, band and orchestra is in here. This is not an area for a student who's brand new and has never had any of this background, particularly in the music areas. They do have to come into 9th grade already being able to play music. But the arts, if a student isn't in any of these arts, either the visual or the performing arts, then they can take a second science or a second social science. They don't have to take one of the arts. And that's kind of a thing that we look at. You know, some students just, they want to come in and they're going to take, you know, XYZ art course the entire time. And then they realize they've fallen out of love with it. And so that's okay. IB has options, so they can take one of those other sciences, or they can take one of the other social sciences, or they could take a second foreign language. But that takes some creativity in scheduling, because we have to start that in 9th grade. So they have to know coming in that they want to do they have to know they want to take 2 foreign languages over the course of 4 years. All right, Ms. Campbell, do we have any questions?
We actually do, Miss Lindsley, just a few. And this is something that I think would benefit everybody that people are sometimes confused about. How does IB compare to Vanguard?
Okay, so Vanguard is gifted and talented. I was a Vanguard student, and I was also an IB student. So Vanguard is designed for students who are what's classified as gifted and talented. A Vanguard student may not excel at everything, whereas they may just absolutely shine in art and they can't do math, or they don't like sciences, or they love computer sciences and they can't do, they're not impassioned with the social sciences or something like that. So IB's philosophy is that the program is perfect for that kind of a student, because if they don't like one of these areas, then they're just meeting their requirement in that area, and most of them are graduation requirements anyway. They're going to meet the requirement in that, but then they can focus on the area that is more their passion in one of the other groups. IB, the Vanguard High School program that HISD has runs with the Advanced Placement College Board program. And that is a different teaching methodology, and it is a different exam approach. Okay. I also work for College Board as a teacher consultant, so I'm in both worlds. The College Board Advanced Placement has a multiple choice component. In IB, we only have 2 courses that have a very short multiple choice exam portion. Every course has exam papers, and so usually those will have 3 papers, and one of those has either 25 or 35 multiple choice questions, so it's very short. IB focuses on the written expression to answer questions. So all of our exam papers are short answers. They're what we call free response questions or long response, extended essays, internal assessments are another component that is all written. So where a student may not be able to answer multiple choice questions well, and that is not unusual for a GT student, the IB allows them to explain themselves toward an answer. Okay, so that's how it's different.
Okay, great. And then, so I'm going to combine a few questions, kind of about if they apply to IB, does it give them a better chance of getting into Bel Air? And what are your admission, the admission application numbers like versus the acceptance rates?
Okay, so I have a whole section here on the application part.
Okay, so we can wait to get to that if you want to. Okay, and then the other thing that probably is a good question point, and then we can go on, is, well, and then one other question. What is the difference between HL and SL?
So higher level courses are 2 years of study. So they technically it says 260 contact hours with the authorized teacher. Okay, and standard level is 1 year or 150 hours of contact instruction with the authorized teacher. So both IB and College Board require their teachers that teach those programs to be trained and authorized and maintain that authorization in order to continue teaching their programs. So IB has that as well. So the higher level, you can only take higher level exams and higher level courses in 12th grade. That is not my policy, that is IB's policy. And when I sit down with the students to figure out how things go, they eventually see which courses are the higher level courses, and those are typically 12th grade courses anyway. So higher level courses, the actual exams will have a few different question topics. Some of them have additional topics also that are part of the higher level curriculum. Yeah.
Okay, and then Ms. Lindsley, last question, and then please move on, is there was a question when you spoke about the foreign languages and that credit, if Hebrew was offered at Bel Air, and
Yes.
how that works with the IB program.
I see. I took Hebrew. Okay. These are slides that I've built. Hebrew was originally being taken out of the IB program by IB 3 years ago, but they've gone in and left it, and I didn't leave it on the slide. But no, Miss Borik is our Hebrew teacher, and I have a student testing in Hebrew this year as a senior. And in fact, Miss Borik, her daughter, was one of our IB students way back almost over 25 years ago. So we do offer Hebrew, and it's my fault that it's not on there because I didn't put the updated slide in there. I'm sorry, but yes, we do offer Hebrew. All right, so the other portion that I already mentioned was what was on these slides. That's the extended essay. This is, the students are in a class for the extended essay, and this is equivalent to what College Board and Carnegie call the capstone class. This is a research and seminar course, and it is an honors point credit. It does come with the 4,000 word essay, and it's an analytical based essay where the student works with a mentor teacher. After they get them done, it's a great relief. I saw an excellent one. I worked with a student for a couple of hours this afternoon on his, and it's amazing when you see them as 9th graders and then you get them again as 12th graders and see how well their writing has progressed and how the thinking process is evolving. It's really impressive. The other course is the Theory of Knowledge course, which I already mentioned, and this is a pull-out course specifically and only for IB candidates. And this is looking, this is, if you think about the hubcap, this is at the center of the hubcap. So this is asking the students to think about how we acquire knowledge and what we do with that knowledge in looking at all the different disciplines that they have. We have a fabulous teacher who is working with our TOK students. He has quite an interesting background. And so the students are finding interesting things out from him that they're really enjoying learning about, and all. And the other one is CAS, and this is, as I said earlier, it's mostly a culmination of all of the community service stuff that they already do. Plus, there is a portion where they have to go out and learn something. So every year we have the kids, they tend to get together in their own little groups to do something. And one year, one of them knew how to do rock climbing, and so she taught all the rest how to do rock climbing. Others have taught them how to swim. We've had all kinds of different interesting talents that students have used to teach other students so that they satisfy their CAS requirements. And our Italian teacher and Latin teacher work with CAS, and so it's been an interesting, particularly in a virtual world, this has been interesting to do. So anyway, just as a recap of what happens over the course of the 4 years, are that the students are taking an exam in each one of these areas over the course of 2 years. Once again, these courses, all of them count for graduation requirements. And so it's just a matter of how we organize their schedules for that. So I'm always asked, what are the comparisons between AP and IB? And so I live in both worlds. Both of my courses are both co-seated with IB and AP students. So throughout most of the year, I just like, I'll tell you in May if this is AP or IB. It's easier that way. We get a very robust curriculum because the students are getting both. And so that in that respect, we're moving faster. All of our courses are like that. Most importantly, an AP course and an IB course are both 5 points on the GPA scale. That's always a question that's asked. Here it is. If it says pre-AP, AP, pre-IB, IB, it is a 5.0 on a 4.0 scale for the GPA. Okay, that's anywhere in the district. That's a standard district policy. In terms of the cost, the IB program is actually very expensive. but the district about 12 years ago started paying for AP exams to increase the number of students accepting a more challenging curriculum. And at the same time, Dr. McSwain pushed to have IB exams paid for as well. So what happens for an IB student is that if they were actually paying the cost for the IB exams, it'd come to about $764. The district is paying for that. And it's a good deal for the money because you aren't having to pay for it. The district is paying for it. Okay, it's out of tax funds. I get that. But for $764, you have the chance here to earn 24 hours of college credit. Now, I have a college senior. I don't know if you've seen tuition bills lately, but I would gladly have. I was very pleased that mine was able to not only get all of his IB credits, he also had AP credits. So he went to college with 42 hours of credit to work with. It's very common that our IB and AP kids have that amount of hours accumulated, successfully accumulated. I already talked a little bit about the difference in the exams. The one other thing that IB has that AP does not have, which is part of the coursework within each of the classes, is what is a component called internal assessment. And this literally is a written document. It could be a literary analysis. It could be economic analysis. In one of my classes, it's called field work, where I literally take them out and teach them how to collect data in a natural environment and then guide them through how this is written up. Each of the different courses has a component of internal assessment that can be anywhere from 20 to 35%, 40% even, I think, in one of the courses. That is part of their overall score. Last year, it was almost 100% of their score because we were not able to sit exams because of the pandemic. So IB exams, as I said, are already a combination of written. We also have oral components on a couple of them. And a student would take them once again over the course of 11th and 12th grade. In May, AP exams are also given in May. So IB seniors pretty much live at school in May, at least during the school day, in either my classroom or one of our other IB classrooms because they're taking exams, either AP exams or IB exams. So it's always interesting to see and organize all of these kids for the May exams between AP and IBs. AP exams are scored nationally. IB exams are scored globally. I'm an examiner for both AP and IB. I prefer scoring AP exams, but that's okay. IB exams are scored electronically and you get tired of looking at the computer after a while. All right, so benefits of IB. First of all, I can tell you as a parent, also Mr. Mazzoni may be online. He's our math teacher. His son just finished in the program last year and is a freshman in college. The college credit is super nice because these kids have already been in a very rigorous program and they do not need to repeat freshman English in college. They don't need to repeat these courses that they've already had the foundations for, and they've had a much deeper foundation for it. And it's hard to convey that and have people really see it until you actually see some of the freshman non-honors level courses in the college level. The textbooks, so many of the textbooks are the same ones that we use, and our students, they're ready to go beyond that, and they've had that preparation. So the university preparation is tremendous. Admissions advisors love IB candidates, mostly because they can write, are confident in their oral delivery, and their skill levels are excellent. And now they're going to be even better because they can do all this stuff on the computer now, all this virtual instruction. At Bel Air, they are part of a cohort at Bel Air who want to learn. In 9th and 10th grade, they really don't know who is IB because they're mixed in with the pre-AP kids. And unless they say something or they already know it ahead of time, they really don't know who is what. But by the time we get to Math SL and we get to some of the smaller IB classes, they begin to know who is really on an IB track and who is not. And it's always interesting to see them by second semester, 11th grade, 12th grade, because then they have, it seems like a whole new group of friends, all with the same kind of ambitions and challenges. And this is one of the biggest things I'm missing this year, is because they used to hang out in our classrooms at lunchtime. And it was always entertaining to hear some of their conversations, because very seldom was it about pop culture. It was usually about something they were talking about in a class. And that was like, wow, and you're 17 years old and talking about, wow, that's awesome. So anyway, they also are part of a global program of about 700,000 students worldwide. And we are one of the top programs in that. And that's kind of nice to hold on to that reputation still. So why IB? It prepares you for the 21st century, the curriculum, the global mindedness of the curriculum in general. As I already said, it's a rigorous program, so it's a lot of times classified as well with AP, the best education that you can get, that provides you with the best practices and thinking skills. It pushes you, and there's times where we're all pushed, and we even as the teachers, we're pushed beyond, like, oh my gosh, can't get any more of this done. But Newsweek has ranked many of the IB schools in the top 100 schools in America, and we've been in that ranking before. So who's an IB student? I love my first one there. Manages time well. My seniors right now would be laughing. But we learn to manage time well, because then that pays off when you go to college and you don't have mom, dad, teachers, and all of the rules and policies hanging over their heads. And so I hear back from the kids, particularly when they're freshmen and sophomores, that, yep, they learned how to manage time and how to write a 1,500 word paper in one night. They're not afraid to take risks in terms of academic risks or stand up in front of an audience, things like that. They aren't afraid of that. They know how to accept a challenge and meet it and go on. And that's what, even the shyest ones, we break that. What do they look like? This is last year's class. They all had to pick up their graduation regalia in my front yard. So you see the common tree in the backyard. But anyway, what do they look like? They look like Bel Air High School is what they look like, and more of them. And as I just mentioned, lunch. So the next thing is, what does my 4 years look like? If I decide to go ahead and accept a spot in the IB program, what do my 4 years look like? First of all, every course here that has a double asterisk is required for graduation by the state of Texas and the Houston School District. So everyone's taking those. So are you. Okay. So these are required by state law. There's no way around them. So that's 9th grade. There's nothing on there that says IB. Okay. We're all in the prerequisite years. You do have to have all these courses at the pre-levels, at the prerequisite levels. There's a couple of courses, if you start having some academic challenges, that we can move to a different level. But for most part, these students all stay in these pre-levels. What does 10th grade look like? Well, it looks like 9th grade, because we also still have graduation requirements that all 10th graders have to take. English language, world history, algebra 2, or math SL, and then chemistry. And then they start having options for electives. And so a lot of these students will take some of the AP courses as elective options, or they'll continue with their performing and visual arts. But as you can see, all of these are still graduation requirements. So it's not until 11th grade that we get to have more choices. But yet we still have to take English. One of our choices is our foreign language that we are continuing in. U.S. history is required for graduation. If you were a non-honors level student, you may not go on to calculus. It's not required for graduation. It's required for our students. In IB, calculus is required. A lot of universities require calculus for application. Not all of them. And then theory of knowledge is also required. And whatever room you have left in your schedule, you can add elective options, including IB classes, of which you may test in those. So what does 12th grade look like? 12th grade, once again, we have 3 courses that are required for graduation. A 4th year of science, government and eco, and then English. But because we're IB, we also will have, potentially could have a 4th or 5th year of a language if we didn't finish the 4th or 5th year as a 11th grader. Social science elective option. Our math for IB is also required, be it either calculus or math HL, and then TOK. The students typically will fill out their schedule with other elective options as they choose. Some don't choose. I have a current senior right now who has 4 classes, and she's just a happy camper with that. She didn't want to have to take any other electives. She wanted to concentrate on what she's doing, and that's perfectly fine. And I think that's healthy in a lot of cases for a lot of students. So the application process, we have 2 different types of students. We have students coming in that are asking for one of our transfers. This is different from the magnet transfer. IB is not magnet. IB is a qualification process, okay? And usually a student asking for a transfer is also applying to other programs. And so, so far I have not run out of transfers to be able to offer. So what does a student have to do for both transfer as well as zoned? Besides, transfer students have to go to the HISDchoice.com website, as I'm sure you already know because the first deadline is already passed. You have to fill out that application that is online, that's a general application, and then there are going to be some additional documents that are already listed there that you are going to need to upload by the January 10th deadline. One of those is the 8th grade report card through January 7th. And I'm not sure if that's going to get us with the progress report or not, but at least it gets us 3 weeks into the last cycle. And when they changed the HISD calendar, this is why this got shifted, and the transfer office did not change their due dates. So we won't be able to have the first semester report card finished out, but close. Okay, so bear with me because 30 minutes before we went live, adjustments had to be made. We normally require the PSAT, but given all of the circumstances that are going on, we will take the REN 360 test, and this is totally new. I will update the paperwork that's online for tomorrow. But the Renaissance 360 scores were taken even by the virtual students at the beginning of this school year for the 8th graders. And that test is also called STAR, but don't confuse it with the other STAR that's misspelled. This is STAR. Please don't confuse it with STAAR because both of these apparently show up on the same report. We need the STAR in particular. We are requesting the math STAR test record, STAR, and the reading STAR test record. And you're going to have to request that from the school. As I said, this all happened about 5:30 tonight. I have not had a chance to notify the feeder schools yet. So if you'd be kind enough to give me at least until 11 o'clock tomorrow morning to email those schools, so they're not blindsided, I would super appreciate that so that they know what it is that we're asking for. When they give you those records, you are going to have to upload them into your application portal. If you took the PSAT, we highly encourage you to go ahead and upload that as well, because we want to be able to have the most complete academic picture of a student. I don't want to disqualify somebody who would be a fabulous IB student and they took the PSAT, but they didn't upload it. We need to have it uploaded if you took it. But given that you were have to go into the campus and some families may not have wanted to do that, we've had to make this adjustment and go ahead and take the RIN 360 test. And anyway, I had a question earlier that was emailed to me about the PSAT scores if you did take them. The PSAT scores will be available to you not only from the school, but you can access them online. They are available online through a College Board website portal that my understanding is you already completed or your student registered for. And everything that they will ever do through College Board, including the PSAT, the SAT, the AP, the GRE, other exams, will come through that login that they created. So those scores, because they're digital, should be available here by the end of December. So you can go online and access them. Normally it's page 2. And on page 2, it gives me the 3 composite scores: English, language arts, math, and the total battery comprehensive score. All right. So that's if you're transferred. Those documents have to be uploaded to your HISD portal. And then I will take them off of there for the next round of the IB or the IB transfer offers. All right. If you are zoned, your instructions are almost the same, except for you don't have to go through the HISD choice portal. Okay, so I need to stop sharing my screen. I need to take you to the website that you are going to go to, which is bellaire.org. If you have never visited the Bellaire High School website, this is where your information is going to come from. You need to visit it. Look at all this wonderful stuff Miss Campbell keeps up with.
Oh, Miss Lindsley, I don't have that screen. So can you reshare and I'll push it over?
Oh, I'm so sorry. There we go. Got it?
Yeah, hold on 2 seconds. Let me please bear with us for just a second. Yeah, you're good, Miss Lindsley.
Awesome. So this is the Bellaire High School website. Miss Campbell is very diligent about keeping everything together. Everything you want to find out about Bellaire High School is here. Everything. Okay, so if your student is not telling you something, this is the best place to go. Go and look and see where things are. Look at opportunities for you. Look as parents. Look at other things for prospective students, registration, all that. Blah, blah. We could spend hours on this. All right. So what you are going to do is you're going to come up here to the academics tab. Click on that alphabetically, International Baccalaureate. Voila. Here is the page that I have been feeding Miss Campbell information for to help people understand IB. If you are a zoned student, that means your address puts you at going to Bellaire High School. The very first document on here is information for zoned students. And I have to go in here and add the RIN 360 test on here, but I will have that done by tomorrow morning. All right, so this application here is going to ask you to go to this link that is tied to our website, which is a local application. And you are going to fill out that application. You're going to load the same documents into that application, and it will come to me. And I will take care of the zone students. I also take care of the transfer students, but I have to do that through the Houston ISD choice application. So if everything I'm saying is a whirlwind and overwhelming, that's okay. Come back to the same website, and here is IB application information for transfer students. For transfer students, once again, I will edit this for tomorrow morning, but it walks you through the same information that I just went through about the application process. IB, once again, IB is not a lottery. It's an application qualification process. Okay.
Miss Lindsley, can you take a couple questions?
Absolutely.
Okay, so great question. How many homework hours should we expect if we are in the IB program?
It's not about just IB. It's high school in general. It's course requirements in general, and it's not. I think one of the hardest things we're doing right now within the virtual is the common methodology that those of us in IB are able to have our students thrive on is class discussion, because so much can be covered within that you don't have to turn into actually doing work. And we are still very much trying to do it in that methodology. It's an IB student is not crammed full of extra work. The IB is deeper. It's you go in more depth instead of in much more breadth. So in a lot of cases, our courses don't have as much. I know, for example, I can use my own class. My HL geography students, all 12th graders, have maybe 6 or 7 grades for this semester, for this cycle, whereas my AP class probably has close to 18. So it's just different. It just depends on the course. We have some that may only have 4 grades in an entire cycle because of the nature of the course. So it just depends.
Okay, can you explain a little bit about the difference between the IB program and the AP program?
Yes, I have a slide. Are my slides back up?
Yeah, they are. They're presenting in dual mode like prior, but it's fine. They just see 2 of them.
It's fine.
Yeah.
I'll leave it like that. All right.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Sure, go for it.
Okay. So once again, here's this slide that actually compares the 2 of them. As I said, most of our IB courses are co-seated, so our kids are getting both curriculum. The biggest difference between AP and IB is the methodology. However, a lot of us that are IB trained, we use the IB methodology with AP, and our students do fabulous. It's perfectly fine. IB is designed around more discussion-based. AP is also moving in that direction. The biggest difference class-wise between AP and IB is that IB has this internal assessment component that the AP kids do not do. The exams are different, but they both have written components. IB is all written, and AP exams, most all of them have a 30 to 50%, which are multiple choice. Ms. Campbell?
Yeah, sure. So next, are the credits that kids earn if their IB exams, are they accepted by all colleges or just the Texas schools, or how is that determined?
So it's we're talking internationally as well. In most states now, their legislatures have passed laws that require credit to be given at the state college for AP classes, providing they make a 3 or above in the exam, and IB exams courses where they make a 4 or above. IB exams are scored a 1 to a 7. Okay. Most of our students are much higher than that. 5, 6, and 7s are typically what our students make. Our students also, we have a very successful passing rate on our AP exams for Bel Air High School as well. And we're among the highest in the state, if not the state itself. In most of the states, the college credit is deemed for the state universities. So here in the state of Texas, a university has to award that credit. Now they can require a placement exam or they can discourage it, but in the state universities, they require it. A lot of the private schools prefer IB if IB was an option. And so if they don't award credit, they give really nice scholarships. We had one student last year who he actually made his decision about what university to go to based upon who gave him the most. And so Texas A&M over all the rest of the privates, and he got in everywhere because he got in so many places. He was also a national merit, but he also was among the most elite of IB examiners because he made a 44 out of a total of 45 points possible. But Texas A&M gave him $150,000, gave him the Brown Foundation Award, and he has guaranteed tuition and all expenses paid for on campus from undergraduate through a PhD, MD. I've got another one. I forget where she was. She was going out, I want to say maybe Brown, and she got $80,000, $90,000. They get nice packages a lot of times. If it's not credit, then it's actual financial compensation. And I have quite a few students who shop these diplomas around. So.
All right, Ms. Lindsley, can you be very specific on okay, this is going to be a kind of a multi-point question. Due dates for documents. Are recommendations required?
No.
And can you expand a little bit if you have not applied for a transfer at this point, what are your options?
Okay, so first of all, please do not ask for recommendation letters. Please don't. We don't read them. We don't need them. I'm sorry. The middle school teachers have enough to do. Don't burden them with this. We don't want them. The due date is January 10th. I believe it is on the it's on the HIC choice page. It also is on the instruction page. So it is January 10th that these materials have to be uploaded so that I can pull them off and meet that's the deadline for the next round of high school offers. Okay, it's January 10th. I think it's a week after that they tell you. So I have basically a week to get all of your documents pulled and everything calculated and everything like that. Okay, so those were the two questions. I forgot what was the third one. Oh, if you haven't applied yet. Okay, so I don't know that answer. I assume you can still go in and apply. I'm hoping. I honestly, I think you can, because we did not pull anyone in on any of our IB transfers at all. We were waiting for these documents to be able to be available. And also students who their first choice is another program, but they also applied to us. If they get their first choice, then they come out of all the paperwork that I still have to do. So we get quite a few. Last year I had 400, a little over 400 applications. So, yes.
Okay, and so I'm going to go back to this because I can see this being kind of confusing or an issue. So just so that we're very clear, here's the question. Can you confirm the timing for uploading the supporting materials for the IB program? It looks like you get accepted into the program in January, but don't have to submit the report card, PSAT, etc. until afterwards. Can you please elaborate on the timing of everything?
No, I have to have the PSAT, the REN 360, these two reports, and the 8th grade report card through basically January 7th, uploaded by January 10th. I have to be able to pull it off of there, and the HISD closes that portal so that we can pull all that information, and the lotteries can be run for the second round for the other schools, and we can determine who meets the qualifications.
Okay, great. I think you can go ahead and go forward, and then we can wrap up in just a bit. So I'll keep monitoring.
All right, great. So the other question always asked to me is what happens now? After you are offered a spot in the IB program, you either need to accept it or decline it. Don't hold on to it. because here's what happens. If you're like, well, I want to wait and see, maybe I might go to privates, maybe I might do this. What's happening is that there's some other student who can't afford to go to privates or didn't apply, what have you, whatever. But some other student is missing out on the opportunity to be able to join us at Bel Air High School if you're holding on to multiple spots. So we truly ask that if you are not going to accept it, that you decline it if you're offered it in a timely manner. Then the next thing that will happen is I will be in contact with you, because we will have an IB cohort enrollment and registration. Last year, this ended up happening in May, I think, and it was all virtual. I can only tell you what I'm doing tomorrow. I'm a person that schedules everything, and not having anything being able to schedule out beyond the next week or so is very unsettling. I cannot tell you when this will be, but that will happen because we have to do enrollment paperwork, registration stuff, and course selection. So I will either meet with the counselors and the accepted students online, or we'll meet in person. I don't know what the future has for us, but that's what happens. I'm always asked about our success rate, and how do we compare with the rest of the world in IB. So the data that's written here is for globally. Mean grade 4.8 out of 7. Last year, our mean grade, and I didn't put it on here, our mean grade was over a 5. We had our highest score in about 15 years by one of our students whose brother's a senior this year. He made a 44 out of 45. He's among less than 1% of students globally in the world who scored that high. And given the fact we ended up being virtual in 3/4 of the way through the year, oh wow. We had 44 diploma recipients last year. We had 96 total sitting for exams. And of our 44 candidates, 41 of them earned the diploma. 3 did not. So yeah, our data is pretty much all remained the same. This is data, and this will be posted online for you as well. You can go back and look at it. But I'm always asked once again, what is our success rate and things like that. And so those numbers keep going up for us. And so I'm always pleased with it. So anyway, what else can I answer for you? Ms. Campbell, are there other?
I'm looking.
Okay, sorry.
Well, they received confirmation of their that their documents have been submitted.
Yes, if you are applying locally, if you're applying as a zone student, yes, your documents, you receive an automatic reply. If you are applying through the HISD Choice program, it also sends you an automatic reply. I will not send you a personal letter.
Okay. And then there have been several questions too about the testing material, and I'm actually going to jump in here with Miss Lindsley and help her a little bit with it. Because as she said, this was something that just, 30 minutes before we were coming online, we're having to make adjustments due to COVID. And we normally always require the PSAT. That actually is the best snapshot into the student's academic progress that we can gauge whether the student will have success in our program. But we also understand that there are circumstances that kids may not have taken that exam. And so something that HISD has had in place for the last 4 years is a screener that screens the students' reading and math leveling. And so the record that we're requesting shows us their progress over the last few years. And it's a specific report that any HISD student can request from their campus. They can send you that report and it can be uploaded. And again, the reason we're asking for these different documents is so that the team that evaluates students can make sure that the students that are entering are prepared background-wise and have the best level of chance of success in the program. So it just gives us a better kind of 360 view of the student. It's not something we've used before, but we know we have access. It's something that we can use to look at your student. And so when Ms. Lindsley publishes that tomorrow on the documentation, it will be the exact name of the report that you need to request from your middle school. So that just explains a little bit about the REN 360 screener that we're requesting. And then additionally, let me see if there's anything else. I think most things you have touched on, Ms. Lindsley. If a student accepts an IB transfer, but for some reason is not successful, would they need or have to leave Bel Air High School?
You are, like our magnet program and like our CTE transfer options, you're contractually bound to pursue the IB program. So you basically end up with two options. One is to apply for another transfer and hope that you get that transfer to remain at Bel Air, or you will return to your zone school.
Can you get an IB certificate?
We are a diploma program. We don't do certificates. We don't do transfers for certificates either. There are a few students in a couple of programs like dance that will do the certificate, dance and theater, sometimes in orchestra, but you will not get an IB transfer for doing a certificate. No, we can't do that.
And so then there are a couple questions just from zoned parents kind of about what the application looks like for them. What's the local deadline versus the district's deadline? Can you expand on that?
I believe that's on the website. Let me go back to that website. Let's see, that's not zoned. And the zone student deadline, I believe, is March 1st is the deadline.
Okay, all right, and then if you took the PSAT, do you still need to upload the REN 360?
Yes, we're asking everyone do the REN 360 because that will have been taken by everybody.
Perfect.
And there's another question that I'm usually always asked. If I'm zoned to Lamar, can I still apply to Bel Air for an IB transfer? That always comes up. And the answer is yes, because we are different programs. IB at Lamar focuses more on not just their academic offerings, but also the career and technology component that's part of IB as well. It's a separate diploma. We don't.
Great. Thank you very much, Ms. Lindsley. I think you have answered, the majority of the questions right now. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
This recording will be posted on the IB page of the website. Ms. Lindsley will also be doing a second meeting, December the 10th, Ms. Lindsley, is that right?
December 7th.
Oh, 7th, sorry, you guys, December 7th. Also, there is a form that I published for you to enter your contact information. We will also send the link to the meeting to those of you who provided your contact information so that you have it to reference.
Anything else?
Let me see if there's any additional questions. Yeah, just additional questions about the REN scores. That really, a couple of different things. If you're in geometry, or if about the MOI scores, what we're requesting is the REN 360. It will be published on our website tomorrow, but it's a comprehensive report from the screener. So it will capture the last time you took the screener, whether it was 2 weeks ago, September, or last May. So you will just need to request the results or the report from your middle school, and it will give us the data that we need. So we're not looking for just one particular screener score. It's going to give us the history within the screener. So just to clarify that. And that's basically it. I think we've covered most of the questions, Ms. Lindsley.
All right. All right. So if you have any other questions, please look on the website. I'm willing to bet the answer might be there. You can email me, but please keep in mind, I teach both IB and AP classes, and I do have a full load of students in addition. So sometimes during some peak busy times, I may be a little slow in replying, but I'm usually not. But I do encourage you to look through that website. This presentation is already posted on there as well. I will also post the changes for what we are accepting on the transfer stuff. So, all right.
All right, good night, everybody.
All right. Take care. Have a good evening.